Hello, I'm Monica Price and you're watching Cuppa TV. Today I'm joined by a talented man who sings, dances, acts and keeps fit, and he will even come into your home. We welcome Jordan Adams, entertainer, to tell us more. Also today I'm joined by a lady that's dedicated her life to healing animals. From cats to horses, we welcome pet whisperer Elizabeth Lee-Crowther. Welcome my first guest, a man who is an entertainer, a singer, songwriter, actor, and who is currently on his live lounge tour. We welcome Jordan Adams. Jordan, thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you.
Wonderful to see you here.
You too.
So, Jordan, tell us a little bit about how this all began, because you do so many things: actor, singer, songwriter.
Yeah.
So where did it all begin for you?
I mean, when I was 12 years old, that was probably my first experience of being on the stage and performing. And I was in Sweeney Todd, actually. Played Tobias Ragg, which I don't think everybody really remembers that in the school performance. Yeah, some will. And I really didn't set foot on the stage again then until a lot later on. And in between, I had a short recording career. But really, the last 6 years, I've been performing shows at Lichfield Garrick Theatre on many different levels. I played Henry Higgins in My Fair Lady. I've been Wild Bill in Calamity Jane, and very recently, I've been the King in The King and I.
How did that go?
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, the reviews for it were phenomenal. Sold out, which is great, you know. And I mean, the Love for Midlands Theatre came along, review there, which was absolutely brilliant. I just wish the performance could have kept going on.
Yes, because how long did it go on for?
We ran for a week, yes, which always never seems long enough, because by the time you get into the swing of it, it's it's over, you know. Yeah. So, but no, it was great.
So you've done that. So again, let's go back a little bit. So you've obviously your passion for acting, you can see that. But did you start singing first of all? Or was it the acting you went straight into? I
would probably say that I've probably more of a singer. That's where I started, which is why I fell into recording singles and had a small record deal, which unfortunately, as happens in lots of cases, didn't amount to anything at the time. It was purely by accident that I fell into the musical theatre side of things, because I kind of fell out of love with music for a while. After a disappointment of not being a huge success. And so a friend of mine took me along to an audition for a local operatic society, and I got in, and then literally from that point onwards I've been really fortunate to be playing a lot of leads with them. So again, yeah, it was a bit of an accident that I fell into it.
Because it is, I mean, it's a tough business. The music industry is tough and acting is tough, you know, so you've chosen really a profession that's it is a very tough industry, and it's going to be very competitive as well. So, do you find that when you go to auditions, Jordan? You know, are you up against, you know, some very, very good quality actors like yourself?
I mean, I've been really lucky, because every audition that I've gone for a lead, I've got.
That's great.
So that's good for me. But I mean, that is I suppose it shows my versatility as an actor and a singer. I can dance as well, but it takes me 6 months to learn a dance and 3 minutes to forget it. So, that's not something that...
Can't be good at everything.
No, can't be good at everything. No, so yeah, it is tough out there. I mean, I have done I've been through lots of auditions. It can be very disappointing. It's really disappointing if you think immediately that you're on this road to success because you can get that many knockbacks. And I think... if anybody was to ask me if I would do anything differently, probably the answer probably would be no, because all you have to do is you've got to keep going. You know, if it's a passion, you believe in it, and it's something that you want, then if you keep doing the right things, eventually, you know, you will get the success that you need. And
did you have a lot of support, and do you continue to have a lot of support from your family and friends?
Yeah, my family probably, as the years have gone on, have become more supportive, because like everything else, if as a child you're saying you want to be a singer or an actor, you're there with hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
other people, and what your family wants to do is just, go and get a proper job.
Yes, that's yeah.
So I suppose the last few years, if they see me perform and the acting and the singing, then yeah, of course, there's a lot of support there, and I'm really lucky because I've got some great fans out there, and of course that has now kind of crossed over into other areas that I'm working on at the moment, which is great.
Yes, you're working on so many things.
Yeah.
So let's leave the acting just for a little bit.
Yeah.
So tell us about this live lounge.
Yeah, the Live Lounge tour, which has just started, which is brilliant. I'm really excited about it. I spent the last few months doing lots of auditions on very many different levels, lots of TV reality shows, and I did audition for a national competition called Open Mic. Fortunate enough to reach the grand final, and on that basis I got contacted by a guy called Andy Baker, who's part of Resound Media, and he asked me if I would like to go along and work with them. Now, as part of a project that I'm involved in, I'm on a fan funding project, which is...
Well, tell us, what does that mean?
This is where your fans support your career, your music career, by investing, by buying products, by products and merchandise, by making monthly donations, or making a one-off donation. And what happens, this money that's donated or gets put into one big pot through Rocket Fuel, and then that money then is transferred over into my music and career development. So at the moment, I've been working on my Rocket Fuel campaign, which is great. That's up there, and if anybody wants to have a look, that's on the Rocket Fuel HQ /Jordan Adams, and there's lots of stuff that you can buy and get involved with. But one of the things that's been really successful and is working really well at the moment is the Jordan Adams Live Lounge tour. And quite simply, I go into people's homes and perform songs from hit musicals on the West End.
That's very unique, Jordan, isn't
Absolutely.
it? If you say come into your home, you literally do take a call, and then you're going to be coming into somebody's house.
Yeah.
So again, is it parties, weddings, or is it just gatherings?
It tends to be small, more intimate gatherings between 10 and 15 people. I mean, I have performed in front of more people, but the whole point of this concept is really to have a captive audience, because it's you become very engaging with the audience, particularly the types of songs that I sing, and the feedback's been absolutely fantastic from it, and this is where the fans from my theatre have really supported and helped this particular Live Lounge concept develop. So I'm really excited about it. And of course, the great thing for me is that this all goes towards funding my future career. And I've got great opportunities now to work with music industry professionals, which means that I'm working on at the moment releasing a single, which is going to be written.
Is that an exclusive for Cuppa TV?
Absolutely.
We like exclusives, Jordan.
Well, there's two writers that we're looking at the moment with regard to the single, and the single is going to be a classical crossover song, because that's where it sits quite nicely, particularly with the kind of things that from theatre and we're doing the Live Lounge. That's where it sits with me. When that single is done, we're going to be doing video to go with it, and also the documentary is going to be done, which is going to show how the Live Lounge tour has supported and evolved. And of course, my fans out there have supported me, which actually call themselves the Jordettes, which is brilliant. The documentary will show how much input those guys have had and how they've supported me all the way through the whole concept.
And are your fans important to you?
Absolutely. I wouldn't be doing anything that I'm doing now without the fans that I've got, and the support that I've had, and how it's grown over the years it's just been phenomenal. And it's just getting bigger and bigger.
And do you feel the industry's changed, Jordan, the music industry?
From when I first started recording, massively, from when I first started recording, everything is digital, everything is global, and there's a lot of TV reality shows out there that are driving lots of new artists forward. There is opportunities out there for artists to develop themselves in lots of different ways, but it is hard work. You know, it's something
You have
that
to work hard at
you
it.
have to in every element. Everything that you're doing on a daily basis means that you're pushing your career forward, and whether that's making new contacts and speaking to people, or just quite simply trying to establish yourself within a local theatre group, or even on a more national level.
So you're doing the live lounges now, currently,
Yes, yeah.
and then you're acting as well. What about any more acting going on?
Well,
Jordan,
I'm
for
not
you?
doing anything now for the next 6 months.
Having a little break.
Yeah, having a little break. But I mean, the King and I was a phenomenal success, and it's always great, I think, when as an actor to be able to continue moving forward with that kind of success attached to yourself, which just means that now I can focus for the next few months on the live lounge tours, on increasing the fan funding side of things, because of course that's incredibly important for me as an artist to be able to develop the music that I need to develop, and also it's giving the fans something. It shows them, you know, what all the hard work and everything's coming into it. Acting is a great passion of mine, so I cannot stay away from it.
No. So it's something you're going to be coming back to, I'm
absolutely,
sure.
absolutely.
So the live lounge is going on now all over the UK.
Yes, that's right, yes.
So, you know, I wish you every success with it. But we're just going to take a quick break now, so come back again and join me in just a minute. Welcome back to Cuppa TV. Now, have you ever wondered how Dr. Dolittle talked to the animals and listened to what they were saying? I'm now joined by a lady that works with all kinds of animals, listening and healing them. Please welcome pet whisperer Elizabeth. Elizabeth, thank you for coming on Cuppa TV.
Oh, it's lovely to be here.
So lovely for you to be here. So Elizabeth, how did it all start for you, being a pet whisperer?
Well, I think it started really when I was a child, because I was always really involved with animals, loved animals, obsessed with them really. And I always thought that everybody who'd got an animal knew how they were feeling, what they were thinking, or if they weren't very well, they'd know that they were ill. And of course, when you get older, you realise other people aren't having those same experiences. And then probably about 15, 16 years ago, we actually got the computer with the internet into the house. And once I'd learnt to use it, I Googled it and had a look and thought, there's other people who can do this like me.
Isn't that incredible?
And very quickly, what I decided to do was to do some readings for people over the internet and via email. And the results were just astounding, really. What was coming back, people who'd got animals that were poorly, vets that couldn't quite always find a solution to a problem, they were perhaps not looking in the right area, or it was a bit of a mystery illness, something like that. It was really, really useful.
And I mean, your talent has taken you, you know, to many places all over the UK. You've worked with all sorts of animals. What kind of animals have you worked with?
Well, everything, really. A lot of dogs, cats and horses, as you can imagine, but even reptiles and bearded dragons and exotic pets. I mean, I've got a parrot myself as well, and birds are fascinating to do animal communication with too.
Oh, fantastic. And you've been on, you know, various television shows and, you know, supporting your work, and even a celebrity, I hear.
Yes, I was lucky enough to sort of go on the Richard and Judy show a few years ago, but I did also go to Russell Brand's house and did a reading on his cat Morrissey, and that was absolutely fascinating as well.
And again, does it, I mean, you would say this, of course, but for those viewers out there who are a bit sceptical about what you're doing, how would you convince somebody that this actually does work?
Well, I think you've got to experience it. So what I've done in the past is do demonstrations of animal communication, where I've actually stood on a stage and got people to give me photographs of their pets or a good description. And once people can see that it actually works, or I've given them information that I couldn't possibly know, they start to become more open-minded. But I do teach a lot of workshops. So even if you've never done anything like this before, I believe if you're an animal lover, and you're very open-minded, you can do it. I believe lots and lots of people have the ability to communicate telepathically with their pets.
And is it something that you would continue to do for the rest of your life? Is it a gift that you have that you know, you would never leave you?
Well, hope so.
Because you want to do it. Obviously, you enjoy it. You know, it's a passion of yours.
I mean, not only are you helping pets, I feel that you're helping the owners as well. And I believe that animals come to you for a reason. They're not there by accident. And often your pet is healing you. And animals, I believe, are very, very psychic, and they know what's going on in your life. So often when I'm doing the reading with an animal and I'm linking in using a telepathic process, I'm also picking things up for the person who owns the pet as well. And people are often amazed at how much their pet knows about them and their personal life even. And sometimes if we've been through a trauma or a really difficult situation in our lives, the pet is there and the pet is almost in a supportive role. And that can come through as well. And as I've sort of gone doing that over the years, I've realised it's been really important to also get qualifications in counselling myself so that I can really help the people that are having a bad time or a difficult situation, because sometimes I'm the first person that they've actually opened up to.
And what's your most difficult? Can you think of your most difficult animal that you've worked with? Is there anyone that sort of springs to mind that you've had a case where, you know, it was really quite difficult, maybe quite sad or maybe even happy?
I think the sad ones are when animals are at the end of their life, and sometimes people come because they're finding it difficult to make a decision about euthanasia. Now, I can't tell people what to do. You know your own animal better than anybody, and of course I always advise people to go to the vets, but that I always find very difficult, because when we lose a pet and we go through a grieving and a bereavement process just like when we lose a person, so often I'm helping to support that person through that too. To me, that's the most difficult part of it.
Because it is. We become very attached to our pets, and as you've said, you know, people who have pets. I've got some myself. You become attached to them. They become one of the part of the family, almost like a human. And animals that you work with, is there any one particular animal that you feel you can more tune in with, for want of a better word?
I don't think so, really. Horses are a really passion of mine because I used to ride horses a lot. And horses do seem to get a lot of medical problems, a lot of back problems, a lot of problems with their teeth and with their joints as well, particularly if they've been sort of ridden hard or they're ex-race horses. And there's a lot of rescue horses as well that need help. So they're a particular passion of mine, but really all animals will communicate. And it's surprising the animals that do communicate with you, even wild animals, you know, or even if you go to the zoo, and every animal is able to do that. But of course they've all got their own agenda and they've all got their own reason for being here, and I don't take it for granted that they'll want to communicate with me. That is up to them, you know, but I do believe once they have the communication, it can also be a healing process for them, and at last they've been heard. And the owners often will put what has come out in the communication into practice. And that might be something simple, that say for instance a dog wants its bed moved into a different part of the house, or they need some sort of therapy, you know. So I always get people to check first with their vet, of course, but after that, you know,
they can come to you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the workshops that you provide, Elizabeth, are they free? How do they work? Do people come to you, or how does that work?
I probably organise 2 or 3 workshops a year. They're not free. I do charge for them, but they are sort of around £70. So I try and make it accessible to as many people as possible. Anybody is welcome. Anybody who's got an interest. They may work with animals. I have had people who are RSPCA officers that have attended the workshops. I've had vets that have come on the workshops, but just people that are passionate about their pets or want to do more to help them.
I was going to ask you that, vets, because vets and people who work for organisations that help, you know, protect animals, are they very aware of what you do and other people like yourself do? Do they?
I think they're becoming more aware. I think in America it's much more open.
Yes, it is,
and
isn't
vets
it?
use animal communicators a lot more than they do in the UK.
There's
And
television
also-
shows as well, isn't there? And there's television shows that we have over here
that's
that have come
right.
from America, you know, about horse whisperer and dog whisperer. So
Yes.
is it more accepting, do you think, in America?
Much so. I did actually go out to America a few years ago, and I did find the attitude was much more open-minded. Nevertheless, there are a lot of vets now that are coming to terms with the concept and are taking it on board and utilising it as well. I think it is hard though, if you work in the medical profession, you know, you have to be very logical and you have to be sort of very left-brained as well, and you're relying on scientific results, you see. And of course, a telepathic process isn't anything that you can prove through science. It is evidence that you give to somebody that they understand about their own pet. But what is great is that when you do give perhaps an area of the body for a vet to check in, and then it actually proves to be correct, that's really good, and does make vets think perhaps there is something in this after all. I do recall a case a few years ago when I was working with an ex-race horse, and the vet was very sceptical indeed, and they didn't know that it was an ex-race horse because it was a rescue case. And I did say there was a microchip in the neck that I believed that they would find if they put the scanner over. Now, they found the microchip and they were able to prove that it was an ex-race horse, and that's why this horse had got an awful lot of arthritis from an early age. So that was very good, but the vet still couldn't quite get his head around it.
It is. I mean, there'll be viewers watching who are saying, you know, it's a load of nonsense, and others will be watching and say, I absolutely believe in what you say. What would you say to the sceptics that, you know, that perhaps watching and saying, you know, it is just a load of nonsense, you know, I don't actually understand what the lady's talking about?
I would say, what have you got to lose? You know, I mean, I do a lot of free readings. I do a show myself on the radio every week, and I offer readings for free.
Oh, Elizabeth, it's been so lovely to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining me on Cuppa TV.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it for today. I'd like to thank Jordan and Elizabeth for joining me today, and thank you for watching at home. Please do get in touch. You can email the show or join us on Facebook or Twitter at Big Centre TV. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.